Joseph, it's good to be here with us and sharing about your experience with Tribus, and I'm so excited about you sharing with people about Lifeforming and all of what you've done and your background and what God has led you to do in your life and coaching and all of that. It's diverse. I know I'm going to have to coax it out of you because you're a very humble man, but tell me about Joseph Umidi, who you are and what Lifeforming coaching is all about.
Well, thanks. It's great to be with you, Kyle. I mean, I have great admiration for all you're doing and the tribe that you've put around you. But I've been on a search for my own tribe for quite a few years. Started with dropping out of law school, God called me to ministry, wound up pastoring in Canada 13 years. Then came down to Virginia Beach, Virginia, where I've been a professor of ministry for 26 years.
Wow.
During that time, I've had staff of key churches. Now I oversee 14 as a network of churches. But out of all that, I've always been on the search for what is personal, relational, and I guess organizational transformation. And I've done a lot of stuff to get there. Lifeforming has really been developed 10 years ago as a means to steward that passion in my heart to help leaders lead transformationally and leave a legacy in their organizations that has a transformational footprint, so to speak, in the community and in the nations.
Powerful. Now, who is the average Lifeforming participant or coach or organization you serve? Do you have kind of a profile client or organization that you work with? You
know, we started, the desire was a for-profit that was going to impact kind of the mountains, 712 mountains. We wound up at Regent University kind of grabbed us and said, we got to have this. And so our original core of about 1,500 coaches were graduate professionals.
Really?
From all different disciplines. You know, maybe law, government, education, communications, media, business, education, and ministry. And they wound up being leaders in the nation. So over a period of years, we're at 23 countries and about 12 languages. So that was our first clientele. It's kind of professional gatekeepers that had influence in the nations. But then we were able to get out of the academic environment only. In the last 4 years, our attempt has really been looking for the key client would be executives, business professionals, people with ministries that want to impact the community. And so we're looking for people that have stewardship of other people and can steward this process through their organizations.
That's powerful. And we were talking earlier with some other marketplace leaders, and you were telling me about there's an acceleration happening for you in Atlanta and other centers around the United States. What's going on? What kind of activity is happening in the marketplace, the type of leaders you're able to actually inspire or speak to or coach? What's happening right now?
Seems to me that in this economy, you get down this bedrock where it's only going to be the dreams that really keep people energized. So we were getting around a lot of big dreamers. These are producers of the #1 television shows in America, the key institutions in some of the arts, even some of the foundations for giving scholarships. They seem to be gathering in Atlanta now through a group of people that have latched on to the Lifeforming process, which enables people to activate their dreams, have their think bigger. So right now we have a conference coming up where we're serving those who serve the big dreamers.
Wow.
And this would be like presidents of Chase Bank or the Ritz-Carlton and these things. So I think what's happening for me is that God is accelerating my ability to bring this process to people who in turn, through their large organizations, can really shift the cultures, transform the cultures of their organizations to release more creativity, more dreams, more legacy.
Powerful. Now, I know you work or have worked extensively in the past with Lance and the concept of bringing people up to that pinnacle of the mountain, achieving that top level. What does it feel like now, Joseph, to be actually really at the top of the mountain? You and I were just looking at a logo that we're working on with an organization we're working for, and it's literally a person at the pinnacle pulling another person up. And here you are in Atlanta, literally beginning to help people rise up to their dreams. What does that feel like to be kind of coming to that convergence place in your life?
It's a great question. I think even as you ask it, I realize that is what's happening for me. And it feels like it snuck up on me. Because I thought I was going to be plodding away for another 5, 10 years to begin to see it happen. But all of a sudden, God has plopped me in situations. And of course, the group of people that surrounds Tribus are an example of that. And the people that I met in Dallas last spring, when you were first beginning to unveil the final product of this after years of work. So I think God's decided that it's time to run with some thoroughbreds. And they're showing up, and I'm showing up the same place. And it looks like the chemistry's there for it to happen.
That's awesome. Now tell me a little bit about, you got introduced to Tribus through a good mutual friend of ours, Robert Ricciardelli, kind of introduced you to Tribus. You've been doing Lifeforming, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, the way you certify coaches, the way your material has already gone around the world. But why did you choose to use Tribus to kind of help accelerate that process? What did you see? Why did you consider it?
Well, you know, I'm an educator, I'm a trainer, I'm an equipper, and do that at the graduate level, now do it through Lifeforming. But the means of really promoting that, and the means of really communicating to that, and the means of really helping to monetize that, I couldn't figure out how to do that. I mean, I had pieces of it, but it was, in my mind, that the pace was nowhere near what could reach the potential of what I was doing. And I looked around at other organizations, and they were the same, and we're all kind of individually trying to recreate the wheel on this, putting all the pieces together. Tribus, when I realized what it was, it took every piece that already exists, blended it and integrated it in such a unique way that it just seamlessly, exponentially kind of magnified the potential of all that and gave guys like me the freedom to be able to pursue the big dreamers and those contexts and know without a huge central office or headquarters, I could have a small organization multiplied in many countries, but using the Tribus platform, I could be as if I was a Fortune 500 company in my impact.
That's powerful. And you know, I learned a lot of this principle from Lance and some of the other training that I've done, that it takes the body coming together and bringing its talents. You know, you were just talking about that. And Patrice here, we're with the Biblical Entrepreneurship here, and Ford Taylor with the Transformational Leadership here as we're in Hamptons Roads. And these leaders are looking at it and realizing, wow, the Tribus brings a lot of the infrastructure behind running a network and organization, specifically for not-for-profits, coaches like yourself, public speakers. It literally becomes the majority or a good portion of the infrastructure needed to run that organization. That's really what we've looked at with the concept of building Tribus, is to do that, is to provide infrastructure for people like you. But what I was saying is that the body and this whole concept of convergence and acceleration, and what's happening is you have such a skill set in the body of Christ that needs to be magnified. You need to be in Atlanta. You need to be out. You've reached that place in your life where you've hit that place of convergence. And my place of convergence is coming among organizations like yourself as one who serves and providing that infrastructure. Can you speak to that level of convergence and why that's so important for us to begin to bring our skill sets together and serve one another just like what we're doing?
Well, my theology is 11th hour. You know, in Matthew it says the 11th hour, the master came and found out that the harvest was not being reaped, and so he gets the worker, and in 1 hour he gets the same income everybody else. So I think exponentially the convergence is popping like popcorn all around us, because in God's economy of time, there's an hour now in which we can see not just wealth transfer, but we can see brain trust transfer and gift mix transfer. There's a number of ways God's bringing leaders together to get the job done. And you know, when it comes to training organizations like coaching, across the board, no matter how good they are, their coaches aren't getting the job done because there isn't a system to enable them to really touch the people they want to touch. So now in the 11th hour, I see Tribus converging first with the gatekeepers and leaders, and then the ability for coaches in any organization, any trainers, to be able to do what they were trained to do and have the means of doing it. That rings my bell.
That's powerful. Now, Joseph, tell us how to get in touch with you. As far as people watching this video and maybe interested in learning more about you, how would they find you on the internet?
Well, Lifeforming is one word.
Yes.
And lifeformingcoach.com. So they can contact info@lifeformingcoach.com, and we'll get back to them right away. We're good on turnaround.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us today.
Thank you.